coordinator, and I am working with the DODD grant called the Ohio Family Ohio Family Network. And the grant is, the goals are to help families connect with each other, connect with their immediate community and the community at large. And since we are an independent living center, we're all about opening those doors for inclusion in our community. So tonight we have a special outreach, and you signed up to learn more about Ignite. And I'm going to introduce Erin, and then I'm going to close the screen and share my screen for her PowerPoint. So Erin Tenney is the program director for Ignite. She came to MVNU with 20 years of public education background as a special education teacher and transition coordinator. She has spent this last year planning and preparing to welcome their first cohort of Ignite scholars in the fall. So Erin, I'm going to pass this on to you and make sure I get everything in order for sharing.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. Thank you also for your patience this evening as we had some technical issues. I feel like that's kind of how these online sessions go, right? It's always something that pops up, but we've got it. We're working with it. So I appreciate, yes, your patience and flexibility this evening. So we'll get this PowerPoint going, and I'm really so excited to share with you more about the Ignite program. So as Deb mentioned, this is my first year here at Mount Vernon Nazarene University. We have just been so excited to plan and prepare this year to welcome that first cohort of students that will be coming in about a month. So the Ignite program, it stands for Independence and Growth, nurtured through integrated training and education. And that's a lot of words. So we're just going to go by Ignite, but it does stand for something. So that's the name of our program. And if we could move on to that next slide, what is Ignite all about? Ignite is a 2-year residential program for students with intellectual disabilities who are seeking an integrated college experience that prepares them for employment and the opportunity to live a self-determined life. Those things that Deb was just mentioning, we want our students to be able to live, work, play, worship alongside those with and without disabilities in their communities and here on our college campus. So some of you may be familiar with integrated or inclusive higher education. Some of you may not. Deb, we'll give this a try. We'll see how it works. Down at the bottom where it says Ignite in blue, that's a link to a video. So if it works, great. If not, I can put a link potentially in the comments.
Okay, let's give it a try.
Okay. This will give you just an idea of what inclusive higher education is about if you're not really sure.
First of all, can you hear that? Let me know if you can hear this.
I cannot.
Okay.
I don't know if others.
I'm going to stop share for a second.
Okay.
And make sure share sound. Share this. All right, let's give it a go again.
Hi everyone, I'm a student here at Georgia Tech. We are asking students.
What was that, Erin?
I can hear it. The sound is coming through perfectly, but I'm not seeing the video. I'm still seeing the PowerPoint. So we may need to.
Did it maybe open up in a different window?
I'm thinking the same thing.
We need you on staff here. All right, I will try to open up in a different window. We just didn't have a chance to practice this.
Disabilities.
No, since our technology difficulties tonight,
it's simple. I'll let you go ahead and continue, and I'll figure it out. How's that?
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Okay.
So some benefits of attending an inclusive post-secondary higher education program like this is that students earn higher wages after leaving a program. So there was a study done in 2019 that showed that students who have participated in a post-secondary program were earning approximately $400 more per month as a graduate or a completer of a program like this. And required less in Social Security benefits. Our program provides meaningful work experiences for our students. So students have the opportunity to participate in some internships, and I'll talk more about that. As we go through our slides here, I'll get into more about our internships, but we really feel that those will prepare our students for work after they leave here. The next benefit that we like to talk about is continued employment after college. So students who don't attend a program like Ignite often have about a 20% employment rate after high school. But students who attend a program, a post-secondary program, their employment rates are more aligned with like a 70% employment rate, which is quite a significant increase for folks with disabilities. And then the opportunity to live in an integrated setting. We love this for our students. Students will live in dorms during their first year with all our other freshman students here. And then in our second year, students will live in our apartments. And so we're so excited that students get to live alongside our traditional undergraduate students. So some of those are kind of big benefits for our students. So why choose a program like Ignite, and specifically in our case, Ignite? We feel that it offers a unique opportunity for students with disabilities, and specifically intellectual disabilities, to pursue higher education in a supportive, integrated Christian environment. We are a faith-based organization, and that is built into our program. So some of our our key components are career development, our campus engagement, and our academic involvement. And I'll talk a little bit more about each one of those pillars of our program here. So if you're able to go on to the next slide, that'd be great. Perfect. So we use a person-centered planning model to identify students' career goals. We want to know what they're interested in, what do they want to do, what kinds of things really ignite a fire in them, what are they passionate about, where do they see themselves working, where do they see themselves living, what kinds of things do they want to do for fun. So we use a person-centered planning model for those career goals, but also kind of just their independent living and life goals for when they leave the Ignite program. After going through that person-centered planning process, we will spend some time allowing students to have the opportunity to job shadow on our campus. So there are a variety of opportunities here on a college campus to try different things. And so we'll all as a group go to those different opportunities. We'll check them out. Students will then get to pick their top two interests and spend a little bit more time in both of those areas, and then they'll interview for an internship, an on-campus internship, which will take place in semester 2. They'll do 6 hours a week for 60 hours total for the semester of an on-campus internship in an area that they are interested in. Our goal then is in semesters 3 and 4 that students will participate in off-campus internships. This is where we really want to align students' goals, their career interests and goals with those internship opportunities. We do have some transportation available. We have a downtown campus, so we have a shuttle that goes downtown. So our goal is that students would take that shuttle to some downtown opportunities for those off-campus internships during semesters 3 and 4. In the area of campus engagement, being a college campus, we have a variety of clubs and activities available. Some things like dance club. One that has been pretty popular on tours has been Nerf Club. So just a variety of things, something for everyone. All of those clubs and activities that are available to all of our traditional undergraduate students are absolutely available to our students in the Ignite program. We want students involved in campus in the areas that they really want to get more involved. I mentioned our integrated housing options, dorms first year, apartments second year. Our goal in all of our parts of our program is that students become more independent as they progress through the program. So in that career development piece, moving from an on-campus internship to an off-campus internship. in our housing, moving from dorms to apartments. We are looking for students to become more and more independent as they go. Wasn't sure if somebody had a question. Okay.
I've
So I
got
just wanna-
lots of questions. but I'll wait until the end.
Okay. Sorry, I just thought I heard somebody
I'm
ask
sure
a
you'll
question.
probably answer some of them.
We'll see. All right. And then the last piece on that spiritual formation, or in the campus engagement section, is spiritual formation. So we do have some chapel requirements here. So students attend chapel 2 to 3 times a week, but we also have what are called belong groups. And that's a group of students based on where they live in the dorm that they get together once a week, just for some time to get to know each other better, to make connections, to really be part of a community. So that's a requirement for our first year students that fall under that spiritual formation category. We also have quite a few community service opportunities for students. Again, that falls under our spiritual formation. As far as academic involvement goes, I tell people this is kind of one of the things I get most excited about. I think that's my high school teacher background, but we are using a blended model. So we'll have program courses and pathway courses. Our program courses are courses that students will take as a group. All Ignite students will take those courses, things like employment skills and independent living. We have some lab experiences, independent living lab experiences built into each semester as well. But then we have pathway courses. So students will choose a pathway of interest. We have 4 pathways: health services, human services, business pathway, and then an arts and communication pathway. And within their pathway, they will choose traditional undergraduate courses that they'd like to, in essence, audit. So they'll receive a satisfactory or unsatisfactory grade in those courses. The courses may be modified, likely. Testing might look different, projects may look different, readings might look different, but the student participating in that course is 100% the same. So they are there, involved in the class activities and what's going on, giving their input, hearing other students' input. So that's a really, I think, exciting piece of our program. When a student finishes, they receive a certificate in applied studies. That's an MVNU issued certificate. We think it's pretty special and pretty great. Our concern, though, is at least initially, employers may not know what that certificate means. So we really find it beneficial that our students would leave with an industry recognized credential. So whatever their area of interest is, this will be highly specialized for each student. They're going to have different credentials when they leave here, but they receive that credential and can take it to an employer in their area of interest, and that employer will recognize and know that certificate as something that's valuable for their workplace. We can move on to the next slide, and that talks about our available supports. So at this point, our program staff we're small but mighty. It's myself, I'm the program director. And then we have another full-time staff. She's the administrative assistant, but she's also our internship supervisor. So she is working hard on creating those opportunities on campus for the fall for our students to get to check out those different sites. So we are available for our students, but we have layers and layers of peer support built in, which we think is almost in some ways better than our paid staff. Now our peer support, some of them are paid, but it's a peer as opposed to an adult kind of coming alongside our students. So our Ignite learning partners will be students who are also participating in those classes that our students will be auditing. So they're already a member of the class, but they're going to come alongside our students in class. Maybe I'm calling it to be like a guide on the side. So they might say, hey, there's a group assignment, come join our group. Or, hey, we're working in this section of the textbook right now, or whatever it might be. They're there to kind of assist the student as needed in class. But then they're going to spend some time outside of class working with the students in the Ignite program. So maybe preparing for an upcoming project, or prepping for a quiz that's coming up in class, or doing some reading so that students are able to and ready to participate in a discussion coming up in class. So our Ignite learning partners are there as members of the class, but then also spending that time outside of class with our students. We'll have internship mentors. They will serve as job coaches for our students who are in their internships. And then our housing mentors, they will live in the same housing as our students, not the necessarily. So in our dorms, they'll live in the same dorm, but not the same room. So they'll be there to be an extra level of support on top of our resident directors, who are the adults who live there, on top of our RAs, our students who are part of our housing team, but also we have spiritual mentors, SMs here, we call them. On top of all of that support, we also offer a level of support for our students. So maybe some troubleshooting types of things. So maybe the laundry is causing some difficulty. And so our housing mentor might come alongside our student and help with that laundry machine and those kinds of things. If a student is having some difficulty, maybe getting to class on time, things like that, our housing mentors help set alarms. They're also going to help with making sure, rooms are kept clean. And we also have goals for each of our students that they're going to set at the beginning of the semester. Our housing mentors will help and be the kind of that check-in person. How are you doing with your goals for the semester? So it's kind of that role of our housing mentors. We also have a Center for Student Success here on campus that's available to any student that's for things like accommodation. So if a student needs a test read out loud to them, that goes through the Center for Student Success and Accessibility Services. Modifications though to courses and requirements will come through the Ignite program. So a little bit of a difference there, but that center is there. They also offer tutoring, one-on-one group services for tutoring. Those things will be available absolutely to our students in the Ignite program. Kind of this point I want to make here that any resource that is available to our traditional undergraduate students is also available to our students in the Ignite program. So moving on to that next slide, this is always a big question when I present to folks is the cost. So what is the cost for the program? Our cost is the same as our full-time traditional undergraduate tuition. That includes the cost for all Ignite courses, all of our support fees, and that's designed to meet all of our students' needs related to their disability, as well as the fees that are in place for all students living on campus. That includes our food, our housing, and our activity fees. For our students in the Ignite program, it also includes a Chromebook and the insurance and all of those things that go along with having that Chromebook. Our fee, or our cost for this upcoming year, I'm going to tell you the cost, and then I'm going to tell you that there's money available. The cost for the upcoming year is $47,552. But I do want to be sure to let you know there is financial aid available to students who qualify. We are what's known as a CTP, a comprehensive post-secondary program, transition post-secondary program. So that allows for our program and our students to qualify to potentially receive federal aid. So that's something that you would definitely need a FAFSA to find out if you qualify. It's needs-based funding. So for things like grants and work study opportunities, that comes through FAFSA. Stable accounts and 529 plans can absolutely be used for a program like this. And then our Vice President for Academic Affairs has made it her personal mission to raise scholarship funds for our first cohort of students. So if you're hearing this and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so interested, we are still accepting applications for the fall. It would be a pretty quick turnaround, but we can absolutely do it. And there are still scholarships available for this first cohort of students. So we'd love to talk to students who are interested more about that program and families as well. Our next slide is how do you learn more about the program? We would love to have students and families come visit, but not just students and families. We've had educators come. I've spoken to DD boards about the program. I've just done community events to get our name out there. So we'd love to have people come visit, see our campus, learn more about our program. We have been, the university has graciously given us a beautiful office space, a study area. Our independent living lab is just coming together. Actually, just today we had our dishwasher installed. So we've got some great things we'd love to show off. So if you're interested in scheduling a visit, the website is there, mvnu.edu/visit. You could do a one-on-one visit. We found a lot of families were interested in that one-on-one visit. We did a tour with admissions, and then I met individually with families to talk more about Ignite specific type things. But also we have coming up in the fall, MVNU Monday events, and same website to register that I believe is live now to register if you're interested. The first date is coming up in October, and then those happen pretty much monthly with the exception of December. And that is an opportunity to go to chapel, to take a tour, to have lunch on campus, and also to meet with Ignite program staff. So a little bit more of a group activity. That's one of those events that's available to any student who is interested in Mount Vernon. So that's not an Ignite specific event, but an event for all students interested in MVNU. And then I will also throw out, I am happy to come to schools. I'm happy to come meet with organizations if that's something that's of interest to anyone here. I have come to transition fairs and community events, so happy to do that as well. I do want to point out we have an online session similar to what we're doing here, but if you're like, oh my goodness, I think that, I know someone who'd be really interested in this. The date for that, our first online session, it'll be on our website. Not quite there yet, but will be September 17th at 12 p.m. I'll do those monthly as well, and I'll choose a variety of times. I know that, lunchtime isn't great for everyone. For some folks that works out well, but we'll do some evening ones, some morning ones as well. But the very first online session, again, similar to what we're doing here tonight, will be September 17th at 12 p.m. So now let's talk about eligibility requirements. So there are some things that that are required for our students in this program. Students must have an intellectual disability to qualify. So we've had a lot of discussions with families over the past year. They say, my student has autism and an intellectual disability. Totally fine. That's, that's totally expected. Those things having more than one disability, but we have to have that intellectual disability diagnosed. Now, we've also had some students and families who have sent me their testing, and I've looked over it, and that intellectual disability piece is not something that was initially diagnosed. But as I've looked through testing, it looks to me that a student may qualify, and that's not something I can do, but I've referred families back to, if they're still in their high schools or just out of high school, to reach out to those maybe school psychologists who did the testing to ask, would I also qualify as a student with an intellectual disability? I think in the K-12 world, a lot of times we have, services are kind of mandated. So students just need a diagnosis to get services. Our program is much more specific because of being that CTP, that comprehensive transition post-secondary program. Students have to have that intellectual disability piece. So if we look at paperwork and we see it's not there, it's something that maybe we could work with a psychologist or a school psychologist. I've been working with a psychiatrist right now to do those things if it's not there initially. So something to keep in mind there. Students must have been eligible for services under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act while they were in K-12 schooling. Students must have obtained a high school diploma or an equivalent credential. We are not a dual enrollment program, so students have to have completed school in order to qualify for our program. And then students, excuse me, must be between the ages of 18 to 25 when starting our program. We understand that students may stay in school until they're 21, up until their 22nd birthday, things like that. And so we have a couple year window there after that, but students have to be in that age gap to live on campus here. So that's one of those requirements that we have. The next slide is my contact information. So phone number is there along with my direct extension. So feel free to write that down. Call as needed. I'm happy to answer questions. I know I talk pretty fast. Also, when you hear something, you're not necessarily thinking of all the questions as you hear it for the first time, but as you've had time to process and think about it, feel free to reach out via phone, Also via email there. That's our Ignite specific email, ignite.mvnu.edu. Check out our website. A lot of the things I've covered tonight are on our website. And then we do have Facebook as well as Instagram. So if you are on social media, we'd love to have you follow our program, especially as we're getting ready to launch and all the exciting things that are going to be taking place as students come to campus, like I said, in about a month here. So now I will open it up to questions you may have about the program, things you're wondering about, things I didn't cover, or, I did, but you still have questions, feel free. I'm happy to answer any of those right now.
Erin,
Yes,
thank you so much. I wanted to ask you, could these families have access to this PowerPoint that you just presented?
absolutely. Yep.
And I can
I'm
send that after this meeting.
sure. Yes.
And then
Perfect.
the other thing is, I think I found the link. Is it Think Higher?
Think higher ed. Yep.
Higher. And I'm putting it in the chat.
Okay, perfect. For the
Um,
video.
yes. Do you think if I gave it a shot, it's important for them to see?
I think it's exciting. Since we
Okay.
don't have pictures or videos to show of our own program, I think it's neat to just see what programs are doing and what this kind of looks like across the country. I didn't mention there are over 300 programs like this across the nation right now, which is exciting. There are more and more being added each year. There are 10, I believe, in Ohio. But this resource of thinkhighered.net, if you haven't checked it out, yes, I'd love to show the video. It's about 4 minutes, so not super long, but I think it's kind of a good taste of what higher ed, inclusive higher ed looks like. So if you want to give it a try, sure. If not, I think the link is fine too.
Okay. Let's go ahead and open this up for a question.
Okay.
How many students are you still accepting for this year, and what would be, if we were interested, what would we need to do?
Good questions. So we have room for about 2 to 3 more students for the fall. There is a link on our website, mvnu.edu/ignite. I'm just going to go there now so I can directly tell you exactly where to go. It's on our main page. If you scroll down partway down the page, there's a yellow oval that says apply now. Our application is pretty brief, but that would be the first step, is that application piece. I didn't go through all the steps in application, but I do want to point out, if you are interested in applying for this year, we do have a code to apply for free. It's MVNU Ignite, all one word, all caps. That's on our website too. So you don't have to memorize that or write it down, but it is under the apply tab on our website. The steps are laid out on our website. There's 6 steps to applying. We do ask for an official transcript from the schools, as well as an IEP and an ETR, so that we can kind of review that for our requirements. Those things then get reviewed, as well as we ask for recommendations. So those recommendations, you give us a name and an email address, and we send out the recommendation form. So it's not like you have to ask somebody for a letter or anything like that, just names and email addresses. And then we forward that information on and get those recommendation forms back from your the people you've asked to fill those out. We review all of that. After all that's, oh, go ahead.
Maybe we should go through her transition coordinator at high school to get all that arranged.
Yeah, there is places on the application where you can put in a school counselor's name, and then we reach out to them directly as well. There's also a form that we have that says, please send my IEP, ETR, and transcript to the Ignite program. Sometimes schools like that signed, so that gives you that form to sign and turn into them. That's on our website. It's also included in the application, both places. We review all that, and as long as all the requirements are met, we set up an interview that can be done face-to-face. It can be done on Zoom. I know we're kind of getting, our timeline is getting small, so Zoom interviews are fine. And then we get back to you with a decision.
Erin, before you answer any more questions, I want to try to get that video on.
Okay,
Let's
great.
give it a shot. That way it will get everybody excited.
Yes, good.
Let's see what happened. Tell me if you hear it.
Yes.
Hi everyone, I'm a student here at Georgia Tech. We are asking students with intellectual disabilities around the country what's fun about going to college.
Is a chance to not be around your parents.
The best thing about being in college is the food. Being in a dorm, getting to meet new people.
You have a bed, you have a sink, you have a desk, you have a TV, and you have a refrigerator. You can also hang up posters anywhere.
Great mocha latte, the best mocha latte I ever have.
There are more than 420,000 school-age students with intellectual disability, but only 2% of them are likely to attend college after high school.
I wanted to come to KU because of the classes, and I wanted to take choir. And also I took American Sign Language.
The classes I'm taking right now are Business Law 1, Intermediate Algebra, and English Composition 2.
It's cool to meet new people. It's fun to chat with the guys and the managers and the coaches.
I wanted to be more independent and to join the sorority as my mom did.
I like to hang out with friends, watch sports, and I joined the Southernmost Coral Restoration Club.
In high school, I have to be with a teacher all the time, so it was not like any dependent there. I was excited to have like the college life.
There are more than 300 inclusive post-secondary education programs around the country.
Having students with disabilities in classes has compelled our faculty to reflect on their practice. So it actually makes us better teachers, makes us better professors, makes us better scholars and researchers.
It's really got people to realize that we have to focus on universal access and doing things in universal design, everything that we do.
The great thing about including students with intellectual disabilities at KU is actually it makes the entire university a better university. It teaches students to appreciate difference, and it creates a more caring environment because students support each other.
This has united, I think, our campus, faculty, staff, and students. They have the opportunity to network and get mentors and other social skills and career development that their peers have had for many years. Now they have.
I want to go into real estate in the future.
My goal is to be a teacher at a preschool.
I would know about one bed and breakfast.
Political science is one of 3 career goals I have in mind.
My credo is maybe work in the Kansas State Capitol.
I would like to have my own food truck because I want to have pizza, have some burgers, maybe have some tacos, nachos.
College has changed me because it's helped me grow up, like getting a job or living on your own.
It's great, and you'll have a lot of support when you get here.
If I can do it, you can do it, you know?
It's a time to be serious. It's a time to learn. I have the skills. I have the skills to live on my own one day.
Think higher. Think college for students with intellectual disability. Think access, employment, equity, options, diversity, independence, confidence, friendship. College is possible for students with intellectual disability. Take the first step at thinkhighered.net, a project of Think College.
Wow, that was totally awesome.
What I know, I think it's great. So I love to see that. Yes.
What did you guys think after seeing that?
It's wonderful.
Yes.
It's encouraging.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad. Yes.
Encouraging.
Erin, one of the questions that we had is how independent would our student need to be arriving on campus his first year to really be successful in the program?
Sure. So one of the things we like to talk about that kind of is a good marker, we feel like, is we absolutely can support students. We don't expect them to be fully independent when they come here. One thing we'd ask is that students are able to take care of, their basic hygiene. And the other piece is medication. Often that has been a conversation we've had over this past year, that students really need to be able to do that independently. So that's not that that's the only marker, but kind of that hygiene piece and that medication piece seems to be one of those kind of key pieces of independence. But we've got lots of supports built in for kind of those other pieces of like making sure, helping to get places on time and knowing where to go and those kinds of things. We are absolutely here to help with. But we are looking for students to be kind of independent enough, which I know is rather vague. But those are kinds of pieces that we're looking for is those more of those kind of independent living skills as far as hygiene and things like that go.
Great, thanks. Do they need to be able to do things like read and write and do basic math and money?
Good. Great questions. So those things are helpful. But we are much more interested in our research of, putting our program together. We have found that learning from other programs who have done this for a long time, it is much more important that students are motivated to be a college student and wanting to be involved in what is happening on campus. The reading, the writing, the math, those are things that we can accommodate and modify for, but that interest and motivation is a little bit harder for us to accommodate. So we are more focused on that motivation piece than on academic, levels and things like that.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious how many of the students are special education majors?
So how many of our students here at Mount Vernon?
Oh, that, yeah.
So it's a good question. I don't know. So I will say, as far as our mentors go, we have kind of tapped into our education department as we've asked our professors who would be really good mentors for this program. Who do you think would be natural fits? So we started with our education department. We've also branched out. We have some students who are in the education major, but also we have some of our students are emergency management majors, and we have a graphic design major. We actually have a pre-vet major, as some of our, so it's neat to see, like, kind of, we had this idea that education majors would be really good fits for this, and they are totally, but there's other students who are just passionate about working with students with disabilities, working in this program that didn't kind of fit maybe that typical idea or picture we had in mind. So that's been an exciting piece for us to see. As far as how many of them of those we have here, not quite sure.
No, I like the idea of the mentors being interested in other areas. And I agree with you with their education majors. It gives them practice on teaching, which is a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
Erin, one last question from us. Is this a full year-round, 2-year program, or do the students come home like in the summers, or what is the time frame like?
Yeah, so it's 4 semesters. So our students are here fall and spring for 2 years. There is no summer programming for this program.
Okay, so it'd be fall and spring, and then they would come home, and then they go back again next fall and spring.
Correct. Yep, okay. You've got it.
I have a question about the health aspect. She has a visiting nurse that comes on Tuesdays and Thursdays to our phone, and that nurse has said that she would be willing. She's actually closer to campus than to our house.
Oh, how about that?
Tuesday, Thursday visits. Would that be something that would be approved?
Absolutely. Yep, that is absolutely fine.
So when someone comes to visit, and this is not the year they're going to start, are there like a list of things that a student can work on for that year so that they're prepared for college life?
Great questions. So I think some of those independent skills, if we start giving our students a little bit more responsibility over a year's time frame and seeing how they do with it. So having them make some phone calls, having them some of the things we've talked about is getting up on their own or with their own alarm, as opposed to parents coming in and waking them up. Having them maybe prepare some small meals or things like that. They're in a dorm, so they're not going to be making full meals or anything, but kind of thinking of those things. Helping with shopping, that's something they'll do here as part of their program. Maybe working with a debit card to see how that goes. Looking at their account and maybe some online banking, some those life skills, and seeing how students do over a year of kind of parents stepping back a little bit. I know it's hard. My oldest is going to college this year. She's going to be a freshman. So this is, we're in this transition year and learning how to kind of let go of things a little bit and giving her more independence. So I get the maybe some fears parents have, but I think it's important to do that. We absolutely have a safety net built in, but I think it's important to do it when their students are at home too, so the parents can kind of see how students do with kind of stepping back on those pieces. So those are some things that we've talked about as we've had interviews, things like that. It's just kind of giving students a little bit more responsibility, a little bit more independence on things, and seeing how they progress with that.
Well, Erin and I met at a resource fair, and we talked about charting the life course.
Yes.
Could you show a hand if you have heard of charting the life course? Okay. If not, I would be more than happy to do like a 20-minute virtual presentation on 3 basic tools, but charting the life course is hitting Ohio in a very big, major way. And what I love, I am a sibling myself. And so I've seen all kinds of programs in time. And this is a wonderful way to help parents and students and adults learn to communicate what they want. What is a good life? And I think, Erin, you and I talked about that. And is that going to be part of the process, or do you use that? Just curious.
Absolutely. So in our interview process, we have parents fill out, and I'm going to blank on the name of the form, but what they envision for their students in all of the different areas that Charting the Life course looks at, so that we just have an idea of what families' goals are. That helps us kind of plan a little bit. But then what we're planning to do, and we're excited about this, as part of our orientation when students come here at the end of August, is we're going to meet the week before with our mentors, and our mentors are going to complete the 1 page, on themselves. What are the things they want? What are the things they don't want? What are they interested in? All those kinds of things. So we're going to have our mentors go through that process, and then they're going to lead our students through that process. So that's one of those Charting the Life course pieces. And I think as we go throughout the program, we'll add more and more of those pieces into our program. But that's really where we've decided, and I'm sorry, in our person-centered planning meetings, I just left this one out. We do the life trajectory, and specifically for our program, not for their whole lives, but at the end of this program, what would be the outcomes? What are the things students are looking for? What are they not looking for? What would not be success for them? And so it's been fun to have those conversations with families and students to really get to know what's important to them, and things that, I don't know that I would have planned into the program, but students are bringing out as these are things that are really important to me. We can kind of add those pieces in because we know them. We've taken the time to really get to know students and use those tools to do that.
So I've gone ahead and put 3 of the basic tools in the chat, plus the life experience booklet, which I think you guys will love. It might print out 10, 12 pages, but it is a wonderful tool for things to consider on the life domains. So, Erin and I, we connected with that whole trajectory. What is the student's goal? And sometimes people aren't even asked, what's your idea of a good life? It may be totally different than the student, if from a parent perspective.
Yeah, there. I have a question.
Sure.
The things that you have placed on here that we can look at, will that be available to us after this Zoom, or do I have to do something with it now, or?
Yep. I'm going to send it a copy of all those pages, the PowerPoint, my contact information. And with my contact information, I'll be more than happy to go through these basic tools. They started with the SSAs in Ohio before 2020, and then trickling down now to transition age students. But all of us, I'm an ambassador, and all these tools are free, and ambassadors work for free because this is such an amazing way to help our families just gear each other. And the tools anyone can use. You could be, older person, a person with or without disability. When you look at that booklet, if you take the time to print it off, you'll see that the life domains to consider. So if your person is in transition age, they talk directly on transition issues or thought. Let me see if I can pull it up really quickly here. Things that maybe you've never thought about.
Right.
And so I think it will help you as you're planning to get ready to maybe be a part of a program like this. It's just things to consider and just give your student more tools in their belt.
Absolutely.
We currently have we have 2 children that are going to be sophomores in high school this year. The one, he goes to Mansfield Christian, and they have told us they've had a visit from someone. I'm assuming maybe you.
That was me. Yes, that was me.
So I had heard about this before they had. So I've been excited to learn more, and I don't want to miss a spot. So how soon, like just during their senior year of high school, do we apply? Do we start the end of their junior year? Our son has an autism diagnosis.
Okay.
Intellectual delays. What's the IQ? Can it be a 72? And he's
That's
very
fine.
slow processing.
Okay.
So I just need to have the ETR re-evaluated with the school psychologist and get that diagnosis then.
Correct. And some school psychologists I found are willing to just review testing and write a letter to say the student also has an intellectual disability as well. So some of them don't, have to go through the full testing again. That they're willing to review it and write that letter. So that letter was fine.
His school psychologist has had him since preschool, so she'll know him really well. So okay, I'm confident. And then our daughter has the intellectual delay disability already, and we're actually going back to Akron Children's Behavioral to get her evaluated for autism this December. So she might end up with a dual diagnosis.
Okay,
she's also legally deaf.
Okay, that's good to know.
Hearing aids. She has hearing aids, but she's legally deaf also.
Okay. As far as the timeline goes, our application opens up in August for the following August. So we are looking, a priority deadline would probably be by December. So anytime in that August to December of the senior year would be a good time to apply.
Perfect. Thank you.
And we've been talking with someone from Mansfield Christian. So we'll see. We'll see if we have some other Mansfield Christian students coming. That'd be exciting.
That would be nice.
Question about the housing. So will the roommate be somebody in the program, a student in the program?
Good question. So yes, the freshman year for sure. Students will have a roommate who's also part of the program. In that second year, we want our students to have some choice. They've made friends, they've made connections on campus, and we'd like for them to have some opportunity to choose in that second year. But for that first year, for sure, students will have roommates who are part of the Ignite program. Anything else? Trying to think of other things maybe I haven't covered. As I mentioned, a lot of this information is available on our website, so that's a good resource. Also, There is a recorded session similar to what we've gone through tonight on the website too. So if you're like, what did she say about this? That's there too. And I believe, Deb, you're recording as well. I don't know if that's going to be available to folks afterwards.
She said it's going to be on YouTube and Facebook there. Yeah.
Excellent. Very good. So yes, you can just
So
refer
the
back
question
to
about numbers, like you kind of covered it, in the number of students, will it be scalable over the next couple of years? Like she said, we're 2 years out, and so what's a project? What are you thinking there for scalability?
Sure. So we want to start small. That's our goal, is to start small and to do it really well. And then within 5 years, our goal is 12 to 15 students per cohort. But our goal for this first year is to keep it in the 4 to 8 range for this first year.
I just have, oh, do you have a question, Margaret?
Just were, but I didn't think it was important. Well, I would just want, is there a way to do everything in like in 12? Is there happen in the afternoon? Like how much early mornings are involved?
Okay, good question. So that's the kind of cool thing about college, is that you get to pick your classes. So you kind of get to decide when you're going to have class. Now, some classes are only scheduled, once a day and they're early in the morning. But you kind of get to be a little bit flexible about your schedule. So right now, it looks like our program courses that we're offering will probably be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The earliest will be 9, 10. So that's 3 days a week. That would be at 9, 10. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, it would just depend on the courses you pick. So that, like I said, that's the kind of cool thing about college though, is if you don't love mornings, I don't know, I don't love mornings, if I'm being honest. You don't have to take a morning class if you don't want to, unless you need it, to finish your program and it's only offered once. Sometimes that happens, but yeah, so good question.
So Margaret, you may have to practice getting up earlier. That will prepare you for your next job.
So as an education major, when I was in college, I remember they made every education class start at 7:45 because they told us you're going to have to be up to be a teacher. You're going to have to be at school. So they made every semester we had a 7:45 class. I did not enjoy that, but it did prepare me.
I would not surprise.
I have another question.
Sure.
This one's for Madison. How do we get information about your program?
Yes, so we have a mailing list, and I will throw my email down in the chat for everybody, and then Deb can also send it out with hers. And then I can add you. We send out emails pretty regularly, and our group meets once a month. And it's rotating between local areas.
Can you tell them what your plan is for the
Yeah,
year?
it is. I am new in my position, so I am trying all sorts of fun things. This month we're focusing really on social circles, how to make friends, how to go to free events, things that are happening in the area, and talking about the people that are important to you, whether that be family, friends, doctors, coaches, bosses. We have some plans for a board game night to work on teamwork skills. We have a Halloween party planned. We always do a thing for winter break. So we have a bunch of really great things coming up. And then all of that information gets shared pretty regularly with everyone.
Can you share with them about the Youth Leadership Forum and how it's geared toward high school students with disabilities?
Yes. So our Youth Leadership Forum we do every year. It's late spring, early summer. This year we did it in the end of June, and it's for juniors and seniors in high school that are really interested in building their leadership skills. We had a bunch of guest speakers that spoke about their experience living with a disability. We learned about contacting legal representatives. We got to go to the state house. We did a lot of bonding, small grit games, icebreakers, things like that, so that we're really getting to know each other. And then those kids that do it in the summer, I check up with throughout the year. We build some goals, things like living independently, learning to budget, meal planning, and we check up on those throughout. But it's a really great opportunity for our juniors and seniors to get that real life experience, to meet other people their age that are really interested in leadership skills. And then it's another thing to throw on a college application too.
Sure, absolutely. How do you recruit your students, Madison? How do you find out, or how do you get people involved?
So I am a big fan of flyers. I have those pretty much everywhere that I can think of, but also a lot of it is word of mouth. A lot of our kids that have gone through YLF, that have come to meetings, they tell their friends about it, they tell their classmates about it, they go back to their dorms and talk about it. It is for 14 through 24, so it's a big age range, lots of diversity in the people that we work with, and just really building that relationship with the kids. We find new people all the time.
I would love to get on your mailing list too.
Okay. So do we have any more? How many are on this call? Is there students still in high school?
Margaret just graduated this spring.
Oh, excellent.
Okay. So the Empowered Youth Group is for students ages 14 through 24. I actually had a young man, he's into creating animation. So Sam shared how he does it using Flip-a-Clip, and a program, and it gave him an opportunity to share what he enjoys about it. Sam is on the autism spectrum. And since then, I've met 3 other students that are interested in meeting other people that are interested in that kind of a major, or, that type of connection with friends who speak that language. I don't speak anime or animation, but I know there are people out there. So, okay. Any more questions, thoughts? No. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you found out about. How did you find out about this? I can't hear you, Laura.
There's something on Facebook. That's where I found out about it.
Okay.
Good.
How about you, Rochelle?
I'm always searching for things. And my children are part of a group, Ashland Special Needs Ministry.
Oh, I know them.
Okay, Christina Tivan.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I told her, and she said, "Oh yeah." So I network a lot. I just, if something catches my eye, I look into it. So
excellent.
And you're a half hour from me.
Yeah, not far.
I'm just in Loudonville, so
Oh, wow. Okay, great.
So it's wonderful. It warms my heart because it's going to be close, and it's going to be something I can helicopter.
Yes.
Well, you'll still do that, I'm sure. hard habit to break for parents.
Absolutely.
The great opportunity. Erin, I thank you so much for taking the time to prepare for tonight. And I want to thank all the family members and students that were on this call. Hopefully you're feeling encouraged, maybe hopeful of a new adventure towards a good life. And I will go ahead and send you all the stuff. I'll put it in a big email. I may not have the edited version of this for about a week, but it'll come in a separate email. And if you would like the Center for Disability Empowerment to show you how to use those Charting LifeCourse tools, I'd be more than happy to help you. And I know I talked with Mrs. Stutz about it, and she was super stoked about a new way to promote communication. So, and I'm so glad that Erin, you know how to do it. So we're very, very happy about that. So have a good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us, and thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, take care.
Thank you very much.
Bye. You're
Bye.
welcome.